Hello everybody, welcome back to my Mass Effect hardcore playthrough. I am going to apologize right now because I ended up doing one side mission off camera. I was recording it, but like as soon as I completed it, this dog right here that you can't see, let me see if I can get him to jump up, that you can't see. You signed us off there. He turned my Xbox off. Now, which I was starting really frustrated with the game because I died a lot in this mission. So when this happened, I got really mad. I deleted the 45-minute video I made from one side mission because I had such trouble with it. Because it was incomplete. I was like, I need to re-record this. And heat of the moment, I deleted the video. because I'm like, I don't have anything I can do this with. I have Elgato, period. I don't have any other programs. And I kind of got mad. And the dog was already kind of freaked out because I was yelling at the game. And I freaked him out a little bit more with my frustration. I didn't hurt him. I just yelled, not at him, but at the fact that the Xbox was turned off. Don't worry, I didn't yell at the dog, but he definitely acted like I did. So I was just giving him some treats to help him feel better. It's my own fault though, because he's a curious puppy. I knew he was going to press the power button, and if I didn't do anything to prevent him, but I didn't think about that when I started recording, so I didn't put anything in front of my Xbox, and guess what? He got tired of me yelling at the game, and he turned it off. He's a good puppy. He tries to keep me from being super stressed, and the only way he knows how, which is turning off my Xbox, even though playing games helps me calm down. Because he doesn't get that, because he just sees me yelling at the game, so he thinks he has to turn it off, and ooh, what's this glowing light? That's the one problem I have with the Xbox One, that it doesn't have actual buttons. It's the touch buttons that the Xbox 360 at one point had until they updated it. And I hate touch buttons for things. They're too sensitive. All he did was sniff it, and it turned off. And this has happened repeatedly. I actually have the box to the webcam that I had bought at one point that I discovered that wasn't going to work with my computer, that I meant to return, but then I never did. So now I use the box to prevent them from turning the Xbox off. So that's why this mission that I have highlighted is not in a video, because I was too quick to jump on the gun and deleted the video out of frustration. But it's all good now. I am working on the biotic terrorist. I had actually gotten through this before my dog turned the Xbox off. I had just finished this mission, and I was about to say my outro or see if there was another short mission I could do, and he turned it off. He knows I'm going to start yelling at the screen soon. He doesn't like me yelling at him, at other things near him. Just doesn't like it. Rex, why do you have to go down? Freaking! Why? I hate this mission! See, he just ran away because I'm yelling at the game. He doesn't like me yelling. And maybe I should put him downstairs, but he really doesn't like being alone either. It's okay, Dexter. I'm just yelling at the game. Don't worry. It'll be okay. There was literally nothing I could do there. It was stupid. I hate this mission because every time you get knocked down biotic, you can't get up for like a full minute, which is stupid. And then occasionally, for some reason, what even hit me? Nothing even hit me! That happens. Or I can't move. I literally stood up. I couldn't even take a step before not being knocked down. Come on! I hate this mission. This has to be one of my least favorite mission in this entire game. Side missions, story missions, all included. See, this is why my dog was freaked out. Because I was yelling at the game like this. Hi, Dexter. I know, you don't like it. Freaking! And then you just bob and weave. Which, okay, yeah, that makes sense as a battle tactic. I do it all the time in games, as I bob and weave. But sometimes it seems like this mission just purposely makes it where it's next to impossible to complete, even just on the regular difficulty.
I've lost shields.
I have trouble with this mission on every difficulty. I could put it on casual and I'd still have trouble. Freaking, because they move so fast. No other mission do the enemies move this fast in. It's just this one. Just this one. And that's why it makes me mad. If the enemies behaved the same way in all the other missions in the game, it wouldn't bother me.
Everyone ignores you. Force is the only thing people appreciate. So how about if I kill Chairman Burns and finish the charade?
Come here, puppies. It's okay. I'm done yelling at the screen. Here.
Let's not do anything we're all going to regret.
Like I did.
What have we got to lose?
Come here.
Since the chairman here decided that we didn't get
You
reparations,
can have another
there's nothing
treat.
left to live for.
But I've changed my mind.
You're a good puppy.
It's clear that you...
I know I was upset earlier.
You had your chance.
And I've been yelling at the game, but you're a good puppy. It's not your fault.
But you voted
You
against
don't have to be sad, distressed. You
Think
don't.
about this.
It's okay.
Burns is
Come
the
here.
one man who can help you.
Come here.
If you release me, I can take another
Come on.
look at the reparations request.
What? We're supposed to trust you? Sure. You promise us freedom
Freaking
and
this
say everything
fire.
will be fine, but as soon as we surrender, you'll double-cross us.
I'm not promising to let you go.
Come here.
All I'm saying is that Burns will take another look. Right, Burns?
Absolutely. I had no idea that the L2 biotics were this desperate. If I'd known, the reparations will come. For whatever
It's
it's
okay.
worth. I promise that.
I know, I've been yelling at the screen, the game system, and all the above.
You're right. I don't want to
You
die.
don't like yelling.
Maybe something will happen this time.
You don't like when your peoples are upset.
Thank you, Commander. I thought I was dead when they took me. I'll see
It's
to it that the
really
reparations
not your
discussion is
fault.
reopened. I
You're
didn't
just
know
a
they were
big
so
old
desperate.
puppy dog.
The 5th Fleet cruiser will be by shortly to pick you
No.
and the prisoners up.
I do have some things to say about this guy, Chairman Burns. It shouldn't have taken this for him to promise reparations for the L2 biotics. It really shouldn't have. They shouldn't need to be desperate in order for you to do the right thing. They shouldn't have to kidnap you and nearly kill you for you to do the right thing. You should just do it. They don't need to be desperate for it. And that's a problem I've seen in the real world too, unfortunately. The last job I had, I got nowhere because I wasn't desperate in order to get recognized for the hard work I did. But all the things went, all the pay increases, the promotions went to people who were desperate for them. Even though I worked just as hard and I deserved it just as much. They were things, it was just a promotion to ship supervisor, which he was looking to promote 2 people anyways. And he only ended up promoting 1. So there's no reason why I couldn't have been promoted too. And I was told constantly.
Patching it through.
Thank you for dealing with the hostage.
I was told constantly that I was the best employee there. That they weren't sure what they were going to do about it when I left because they had no one who would do a lot of the things that I would do. They kept saying these things that in any sane sense would have had someone doing something to recognize my work besides being a pat in the back. Oh, you're the hardest worker here, Crystal. You do all these things that no one else wants to do. You don't know what we're gonna do without you. You're one of our best workers. You deserve more than you get. But then they wouldn't give me a pay increase. Because pay increases, they don't exist without promotion in this company. They wouldn't promote me, despite saying they would. Every time I'd ask, they'd be like, yeah, we'll do that. And nothing would happen. I'd go, hey, when is this going to happen? Oh, it's not. A couple days later, hey, what happened to that promotion you said you were going to give me? Oh yeah, we'll work on it. A couple days later, no, we're not. It was just all this filled of empty promises and acknowledgement, yet non-acknowledgement of my efforts. Eventually it just got to the point where I just got sick of it and my work ethic suffered, which then made the amount of hours I got suffered. And that's pretty much been the way it's been at every job I've been. I go in, I throw myself at my work, I do a good job, I'm told I'm one of the best employees, but then nothing comes of it. And I get tired of nothing coming of it. And then they get tired of me being tired of nothing happening. As if it's my fault that I'm tired of putting all this hard work forward to something and still not even being able to sustain myself on my own 2 feet. And as it was, I was already driving myself into the ground, just trying to make something, to do something with my life besides sit at home. And all that ended up being all it really was, is I was just doing something that wasn't at home, sitting and playing video games or whatever. That's pretty much what it turned into. Because I was making money, sure, but it wasn't money I could live off of. It was just money that I could contribute to the livelihood of the household I was living in, which I lived in for longer than what any of us had intended I lived there. It was intended I would move in, I would get a job, and then I would find my own place. But it didn't happen, because the only jobs I could get were minimum wage jobs. And minimum wage, no matter where you are, is not enough to live off of. Even with the law saying that has to go up to $15 an hour. Companies are doing that as slowly as possible, for one. So it's not really helping at all. right now. In fact, all it's doing is taking away the possibility for promotions or pay increases, and it takes away rewards for doing your job. Not that I ever saw any rewards for doing my job well even before then. But there were people who did. And those don't exist anymore because of this law. Because companies don't want to pay people. In fact, because of this law is part of why I got my hours were cut. And then in the end, I'm making less money than I was before the pay increase. And it's just been that way at every job I've had, as I said. I mean, some were better than others. I mean, at least at my last job, even though there were all these unfulfilled promises and stuff, they didn't actually treat me horribly. They treated me as a friend, just not a friend that they wanted to see succeed for whatever reason. It's like they wanted me to fail, or they wanted me to quit. And you know what? I'm not even surprised. Wouldn't even be surprised if I found out one day that that's exactly what the whole deal was about. Why they wanted me to fail, if that's what they wanted, I don't know. No one ever tells me what problem they have with me when they have a problem with me. And that's what makes me mad the most. If you have a problem with me, tell me what it is. Don't just keep doing this passive aggressive stuff where you're not telling me what it is that you have a problem about. And you're just doing these things to make my life harder. But even though they did all that, and they wouldn't tell me the real reasoning why they weren't doing these things that they promised, it still wasn't as bad as the job that I had left before then, when I initially moved away from the deserts of Arizona. Because I was treated like little more than a slave there. If even more than... Really, the only thing differentiating me was the lack of beatings and the fact that I was paid. They beat me up emotionally there. And lied to me. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I was the hardest working person at that place. And then after Rihanna left, previously Rihanna had been, I'm probably not saying her name right anymore. After she had left, then I was the hardest working one. It was a trend there that the hardest working person and the one who was there the longest was the one that got emotionally beat up and treated like crap and expected to do things that you shouldn't be expected to do in a job, especially when you're working with food. You shouldn't work when you're so sick that you can barely even move. You shouldn't work when you're throwing up. You shouldn't work when you have a fever, when you're working with food. Yet every food place I worked at, both the ones I mentioned already and the one I worked at before that, expected me to work when I was sicker than a dog. I mean, when I worked at Subway, they were more understanding. And my last job was more understanding than the one in between. but only one of the managers was. The other manager would get mad and accuse me of just not wanting to work when I called in sick, even though in the 2 years I worked there, I only called, Garrus, will you stop walking in front of my bullets? I only called in twice sick and 2 times because of weather. Every single time I called in. The first time included. Which, the first time was like maybe half a year into my career there. I would be accused of just not wanting to work and be threatened with a write-up. It doesn't matter that my reasons were legitimate. It doesn't matter that when it was snow, if someone were to take me there or come pick me up, they would be putting their lives in danger because the roads were so bad where I was. It doesn't matter that I was literally like in pain so much I could barely move because I was so sick. It doesn't matter that I threw up on the way to work and had to call in because you're not supposed to work in food service for 24 hours when you throw up. So naturally I called in because I want to be a good employee. I want to obey the rules. I don't want to get them in trouble with things. But apparently they don't care about the laws. Yeah, I guess this episode is the venting episode. Why won't these guys come out from over there? Yeah, that's my experiences with fast food jobs. They're not great. And the minimum wage increase does not help with it. In fact, because it takes away pay increases for doing a good job, you can be the best employee ever. You won't get a pay raise. It doesn't matter how good an employee you are. If you don't get a promotion because of one reason or another, you're not going to get a pay raise increase. And any newbie who walks through the door and is a crap worker will make the same amount of money that you do. And over time, maybe they could deserve it to have the same pay rate as you. But not right at the beginning. So then, because of that, it takes away the motivation of the workers to actually work quality, which lowers the service that customers get, which lowers the chance of customers returning, which lowers the chance of the company being able to stay open, which lowers jobs. So no. So that's the problem I have with the pay increase. I understand the reasoning behind it. But companies aren't going for it the way that people hoped when they made it. And they probably never will, to be honest. And sometimes some people in the company will complain about it, but they won't do anything about it. They might say nice words and flowery words, but they're not going to change it. In fact, part of the reason why my hours were cut was because the company was telling the manager that he had to cut people's hours and just hire more people instead, which doesn't make any sense. Do that when you know you have employees that don't have other jobs, that require what they have now in order to even be able to live. Some which can't even do that. I mean, I was working around 30 hours a week, going on 40 hours a week at one point, and I still couldn't afford to get my own apartment, pay for utilities, pay for internet, and pay for food. All of them. I couldn't do all of them. I would have had to live without one. I probably would have ended up living without utilities because I can't live without food, and I do too much on the internet. I probably would have been like, hey, I need a friend who I can use their shower. I probably would have just lived without internet, to be honest. And then I would not have been very happy living without internet. But it would have been better to live without internet than to live without food. The problem, though, is with the amount that I was making, I would have been able to afford an apartment. It's just the rent. That's it. I wouldn't have even been able to afford utilities or food now that I think back to it. So, pay increase doesn't seem to be helping any. Anyways, that's all the time I have left for this episode, guys. I apologize that it turned into me venting. Just frustration built up and emotions. I've been feeling really discouraged since I had to quit my last job and come back home. I mean, I'm hoping that at least things will go well for my goal to go to college. I mean, it seems like it's going well so far, but it depends on if I can get it funded or not. And that's the thing, I don't know if I can. And I was optimistic about it until one of my friends goes, oh, you're going to a private school, the state might not even give you anything for it. Meanwhile, my other friend was trying to encourage me by telling me about scholarships open to people who are over 24. Encourage her in one ear, and someone who's trying to be supportive but unintentionally being discouraging in the other. So it's hard. And I apologize that this turned into a venting session. You guys just... I don't want to hide anything from you guys. I don't want to pretend I'm all sunshine and baby rainbows all the time. Though I try to stay cheery in these videos. Today apparently just was not that day. Hopefully, next episode, even though I'm recording it now, I won't vent so much. I think I've vented all that I can vent on the work situation. It's hard. And life is hard. And I get that. And, I mean, every job I've had since I left Ohio initially has fallen to pieces beyond my control. I mean, prior to in my control, I could have just continued stubbornly to just keep going and keep putting all into it, despite nothing coming of it and nothing happening. But it reaches a point. It reaches a point where you realize either something has to change or it's going to be hell on earth for the rest of your life. And some of the couple of the jobs, that happened to me earlier than it did the other jobs. In fact, my last job, the one that passed me up for all the promotions and pay raises, despite them saying that I deserved it and that I should get it to my face, for probably saying something completely different behind my back. Actually, it was the job that took me the longest to get fed up with. And if the management hadn't changed so much, if I had still had the manager, if the management was still the way it was when I had first started working there, then maybe it wouldn't have gotten so bad. But the management changed and decided that they didn't like me for whatever reason, that they weren't going to tell me why they didn't like me. And they would say to me one day, oh, if there was a problem with you, then we would tell you. And then off the clock, off the record, elsewhere, they'd be like, I'm too afraid to tell people how I really feel because I'm afraid that I'll hurt their feelings. I'm like, wait, you just told me the other day that if you had a problem with me, that you would tell me that you had a problem with me. Now you're saying that you're afraid to tell people how you really feel because you're afraid that you'll hurt their feelings. So are you being straight up with me or not? Of course, socially awkward me doesn't have the guts to actually say that. Because partially that was because I knew I was just going to get another diplomatic answer. Because this guy was full of those diplomatic answers with no actions to back them up. And I liked him. He was a good manager for the most part. Except for that. Except for the whole diplomatic answers and not backing them up with actions part. And no one would ever tell me why I was being passed up. Why this? Why that? And that's what makes me mad when I think about it. Is that I can't know where I needed improvement if I wasn't told. So I'm going to ask you guys before I end this episode off. If I do something if you guys see me do something that's wrong, or that I could do better in, tell me. Because I need that feedback in order to grow as a person. And I'm better at taking feedback now than I was like 5 years ago. So I will take it, and I will consider it, and I will think on it, and I will figure out what I need to do with that advice. So please guys, if I do something stupid, or do something wrong, tell me. Let me know, so that I can fix it, and that it's just doesn't turn into an endless cycle of me just keep doing it. And whoever is upset just keeps being mad about it. Because we don't need that kind of conflict, guys. No one has time for that kind of conflict. That's why I've left all the jobs that I've left. Because of conflict. We don't have time in our lives to deal with this sea of constant negative conflict. Any conflict that there is between me and you guys, I want to smooth it out as fast as possible. So if there's ever something I do that causes conflict with you guys, tell me about it, okay? So I can fix it. Because I care about you guys, and I care about how your day is going, and I don't want to just make you guys mad and upset. And I apologize this episode became me ranting about jobs. But hey, maybe it might make you feel better because you're going through something similar, and it helps to hear that you're not the only one. And if that makes you feel better, then great. But if it makes you feel negative, then I am sorry. I really am. I was frustrated, I was angry. And I shouldn't have ranted off like that in the middle of an episode. And I apologize. But seriously, guys, if there's any conflict amongst you guys, between one of you guys and another, smooth it out. If you need a mediator, then you can come to me and I'll do my best to mediate. But I won't always be able to do that for everybody. My community is small right now, so odds are I can probably spare some time and help you guys mediate and smooth out your problem. If not, then look to someone else in the community. Look to someone else in another YouTube community that you're part of. Look to someone within the people that you know around you to help mediate. If you're having a conversation over the internet and you're trying to resolve a situation, don't just spout out things. One of my friends and I have a thing that we used to do it all the time. We don't do it as much anymore because we don't need to do it as much anymore. But when we were having a conflict with someone, we would write out what we were going to say to them, and then we would send what we were going to say to, if it was him, he would send it to me. If it was me, I would send it to him. I didn't face as many conflicts as he did for a while. I think I've only had to do this once or twice, which is something I was grateful for, that I didn't have a lot of conflict with the community of readers on my fanfiction account as he did. But he would send it to me and I would read through it and I said, okay, yeah, this looks good, it gets your point across, it should calm the storm. If you just need someone to go through your response and tell you if it's okay, that it'll calm the storm and it won't fan the flames further, then do that. Conflict, resolve it. I'm not saying don't have conflict at all. Conflict's going to happen. It's how you grow as a person. But resolve it as fast as you possibly can. Don't just sit and stew on it, like I've been doing with this whole job thing. There's not much I can do about it. I could go and I could find another job, but right now I just expect if I go into another job right now that I'll just be going into the same situation that I've been going into for the last 5 years. And I'm tired of that situation. That's why I want to go back to college. I want to follow my dreams to be a forensic scientist. That's why part of why I'm doing YouTube too. I don't expect it to grow a lot to where I make any money off of it. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to try to make you guys smile. And anyone else who joins smile. All I want to do is make people's lives better. And that's why I can't stay in such a situation like I've been in the past 5 years for work, because surrounded by so much negativity, it's hard to find it in me to just be the positive person I try to be to make people smile. I was able to do that at church, and that's part of why I miss the church I went to in New York, upstate New York, so much, is because I was able to get involved and I made people smile and I made kids happy and people appreciated me and they liked having me around, which told me that I was able to make their day brighter when I was around. I was able to do that there. But I felt like that's the only place I've ever been able to do that, is at churches. Not every church either. There's been a lot of churches I've left because they were filled with drama and negativity. Not the same way that my jobs have been, but have had that atmosphere of judgment and negativity. And that's why I liked the church I went to in New York so much, because it didn't have that. It was just people coming together to love God and love each other and do something good in the community. And it was a place I could learn and I could grow, and I loved that. And I've gone on enough. The point is, conflict, resolve it. Don't let yourself bottle it up so much you end up making a whole video of your venting like I just did. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Sorry again about my venting. Like and subscribe if you want to see more better videos than this one. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. You can berate me for all that just happened in this video if you want. Just go ahead. Feel free. I'm already berating myself, so you won't say anything that I haven't said to myself already. In the meantime, keep it real, spread the love, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Love y'all!